Joe Askren here, drjoebrews.com. I'm at the beautiful Calusa Brewery space here in Sarasota, Florida. We are so lucky to have this also as our lab space for our Intro to Beer Science class. We also do some fun activities with our Brewing Arts program. Today I'm cleaning, folks. I'm cleaning out these half-barrel SS Brewtech fermenters here. But while I do that, check out this really fun video I made. I was in Munich, Germany, checking out the Hofbräuhaus. I'm going to talk about how famous it is, get into the history and culture of beer there. Hope you enjoy this video.
Hello from Munich, Germany. Joe Askren with drjoebrews.com, professor at USF and certified executive chef. So I just got back from visiting the most famous pub in the world. That's the Hofbräuhaus. Can't wait to share this experience with you. In this short video, we're going to talk about what makes it so iconic, so famous, why 35,000 people visit this enormous beer hall every day. So Germany is in what's known as the beer belt. From the United Kingdom to Belgium, Germany, Poland, all the way down to Serbia and Romania. That's the beer belt. In 1589, Duke Wilhelm V commissioned the building of a brewery in Munich, which was the capital of Bavaria. So beer served in this court at the time was imported, so it wasn't cheap for the Duke. The building of this brewery in Munich was a cost-cutting strategy. Now, of course, there were already breweries in Bavaria, but the Duke's new brewery would be specifically for his court. The first facility was in the Sparkenstrasse location, southeast of today's Old Town Munich. This is where the Duke's court was. And in 1607, the brewery moved to the Platzel site, which is where it still is today. That's the famous location. And it took about 25 years before the beer recipes were actually perfected. In 1614, to perfect the recipes, the Duke hired a master brewer from Einbeck in northern Germany. The beer went from ales to strong lager beers called Bock beers. You've heard of those. Wheat beers were also a new popular style in the court. As the beer quality drastically improved, Bavaria's royalty began to buy all of its beer from this brewery. So much so that through the 1600s, the Hofbräuhaus was known to bring in 30 to 50% of the Bavarian taxes. And profits from brewing would help fund the 30 Years' War starting in 1618. Now, because of the state support, the Hofbräuhaus had a huge monopoly on two specific recipes in Bavaria until 1798. That's the white beer and a lager-style stout called Schwarzbier. Another critical date for the Hofbräuhaus was in 1810. This was the famous wedding of King Ludwig and Princess Therese. After the wedding, there was a celebration. There were horse races to close the festivities. All of Bavaria was involved in this celebration. They came from all around. People also went into pubs to celebrate the wedding. During this time, it was such a powerful social event and sense of Bavarian pride that decisions were quickly made to make it an annual celebration. This is the origin story of, guess what? Yeah, that's the famous Oktoberfest, which occurs every year at the end of September and into October. It's just a massive event now. In 2023, the attendance records actually came in at 7.2 million visitors. Can you believe that? 7.2 million people. The Hofbräuhaus is one of the 6 approved breweries at this mega event. The others include, as you see here, Augustiner, Hackersfor, Lowenbrau, Paulaner, and Spaten. Germany is all about rules, and there are 2 big rules during Oktoberfest. Beer only produced in Munich can be served at this event, this month-long event, and the beer produced must follow the Reinheitsgebot laws of purity. Now back to the Hofbräuhaus. Eventually, in 1828, King Ludwig opens the Hofbräuhaus to the public, finally. So now the public can actually go into the Hofbräuhaus and enjoy the wonderful beer. So before that, it was just for the court, just for the royalty. So that's a long time. All in total, there are 3 Hofbrau locations in and around the outskirts of Munich. There's the original Platzel location in the Old Town area, the Keller location just 2 kilometers east, and in 1998, a much larger production facility was built in Riem. All brewing is done there now. For over 400 years, the Hofbräuhaus at the Platzel location has always been the heart of social gatherings and celebrations. It had some infamous guests as well. In 1919, the new communist Soviet Republic met here to organize, and in 1920, Hitler gave one of his early speeches where he announced his notorious 25-point plan. The The state of Bavaria today actually owns the Hofbräuhaus brand, and the Platzel location brings in over 2.5 million euros per year in income. The Hofbräuhaus is branded around the world on 3 different continents. The first satellite location was opened in New York City in 1908, and there are now 5 locations in the US. There's 24 locations all around the world. So let's walk into this historic Platzel location. This is the original location, right? So this is what Bavarian tavern culture is all about. Now look up now and you'll see Aloysius, the former hardworking porter turned angel. The story is that when Aloysius went to heaven and found no beer, he begged to come down to the Hofbräuhaus for a pint of beer every night and would also bring his blessings. So there's over 1,300 seats on this ground floor as you enter, and there's 400 seats in the beer garden, which is off to the left as you walk through there. Just a beautiful beer garden. 700 seats in the ballroom upstairs on the second floor. There's actually 3 floors total. When you enter through the front, you can't help but be impressed with the vaulted ceilings, the artistic paintings there. It's just got this big tent festival vibe. I immediately felt this when I walked in. The Alpine folk music or tavern music is just perfect. It's rustic and quaint, and they play throughout the day. I think they start later in the afternoon, and they play all the way into the night. You see those pint lockers? I'll talk about those in a second. This place is open 365 days a year, not a day off, right? Every single day they're open. And now I'm walking out into the beer garden. It's just beautiful. It's just in the middle of the day, and it's pretty crowded. 35,000 people come into this Hofbräuhaus at its peak in some of the busiest days, and on average, there's about 12,000 coming in every single day. It is certainly a melting pot of people. You see different nationalities, different shapes, sizes. It's just for everybody, and that's how it was meant to be. Now, what would a German beer hall be without traditional tavern music? So let's listen to a little bit of this. Now, there's over 100 regulars that come into the Hofbräuhaus, and there's generations of these regulars that come in to the Hofbräuhaus, and this is kind of a pretty cool part of the culture in here. If you walk around, you'll see these holding spot. They have these lockers where they'll keep regulars, so they'll keep their tankard or their metal pint mug. So these regulars that come in there, they have their own metal pint mug. They unlock that mug, they unlock it, they take it out, get a beer, and they sit down in these reserved sections, and it's called Stammtisch. So you'll see these signs. It's called Stammtisch, and it's just a section or a table reserved for locals or for regulars that have been there, and there's different groups of them that come in. There's different group names, and it's just really interesting. And it's just to make sure that, even with all these tourists coming through, there'll always be a place for the regulars that come in there. And there are these beer tokens that they sell to not just the regulars, but to anybody. And so if you bought a beer token 10 years ago, that's what you'll pay for a beer today. So sort of worth the investment there. So those are fun to come by. I forgot to buy one of those when I was there. Wish I would have. Well, thanks for letting me show you around the famous Hofbräuhaus and talk about its history. I really hope you get a chance to visit here someday if you haven't already. I hope you'll join me here on this channel for other interesting stories on beer history and culture. Or if you want to come see some of my hands-on brewing experiences on drjoebrews.com. I'll see you then. Cheers.